Ladies and gentlemen, every day is a new opportunity, an open door, a fresh start, a blank page on which to write your story. But let me tell you something, my friend. You will not write a story of greatness by accident. You won't stumble into success. You won't float through life and one day wake up to discover that you have accomplished everything you've dreamed of. No, no, no. You are here today because you are ready to hear the truth. The truth is that there is power in the small, consistent actions you take every single day. Daily consistency is the key to unlocking your potential. It is the hidden force that will carry you from where you are to where you've always known you should be. But it won't be easy. Consistency means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It means showing up when the world is trying to pull you in 1,000 directions. It means being disciplined enough to keep going even when the road is hard, even when you don't see the results right away. And let me tell you something, results will come. You might not see them today, you might not see them tomorrow, but as long as you keep showing up, you will see them in due season. I know you've been dreaming big, I know you've got plans, but dreams without discipline are just fantasies. You've got to get up and put in the work. You've got to build the habit of showing up even when it feels like nothing is happening. But I'm here to tell you something is happening. It might be happening beneath the surface where no one can see, but change is happening. You're growing, you're learning, you're becoming. Think about the things in your life that you've already mastered. The skills you've developed over the years, the habits you've formed. None of that happened overnight. You didn't wake up one day and suddenly become good at something. You got up every day and you practiced and you showed up and you stayed committed. You didn't quit. You didn't give up. And that's why you're where you are now. But I want to challenge you today. What if you took that same level of consistency and applied it to every area of your life? What if you made it a point to show up every day no matter what? I'm talking about consistency in your faith, consistency in your relationships, consistency in your personal growth, consistency in your health, in your dreams, in your career. Don't just show up when it's easy. Don't just show up when you feel motivated. Show up every day. And when the storms come and the winds blow and it feels like the whole world is against you, that's when you need to show up the most. Because listen, you don't become great. I know some of you are looking at your life and you're thinking, but I've tried before and it didn't work. You become great when you're in the middle of the struggle, and I didn't see the results I wanted. I understand that. You keep showing up. That's where the power is. That's where the growth is. There's something about that feeling of putting in the commitment, that daily consistency, feeling like it's not paying off. That will set you apart from the crowd. It will separate you from those who doesn't always bring immediate results. From those who try for a while and then come in ways that you don't expect, or they come at a time when you least expect them. But if you keep pressing today, if you keep doing the work, you will eventually see the breakthrough. There's a powerful truth in the Bible that says, "Do not be weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap if you do not faint." No matter the setbacks, no matter the rewards of your efforts, is staying consistent. About someone who has the discipline, faithful to the process. Stay consistent. I want to remind you today that you are closer to your breakthrough than you think, because this loop is so your consistency is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Don't give up now. Don't quit in the middle of your process. You've come too far to turn back now. You've got to trust the process. You've got to believe that the seeds you are planting every day will eventually produce fruit. And when that fruit comes, it will be sweeter, it will be richer, and it will be more abundant than you could ever imagine. But it all starts with your decision to show up day after day, to do the work, to stay consistent. And let me say this, it's not about perfection. I'm not talking about being perfect every day. I'm not saying that you won't have some bad days or that you won't face challenges along the way. But I am saying that the key to success is not in being perfect, it's in being persistent. Success and personal growth are built on consistent small actions taken every day, even when you don't see immediate results. It's the habit of showing up day after day that brings about real transformation. And ladies and gentlemen, you are made for greater things than you can imagine. Consistency doesn't rely on motivation, but on discipline. The key to overcoming challenges and achieving greatness is showing up and doing the work, even when it's hard or when you don't feel like it. Progress often happens beneath the surface, unseen by the eye. You must trust that your consistent efforts will pay off in due season, even when results aren't immediately apparent. Success is about persistence and resilience, not perfection. It's about continuing to move forward, learning from mistakes, and never giving up, no matter how many setbacks you face. Every single day, you are given the same 24 hours that everyone else gets. And while others may be wasting their time or squandering their opportunities, you have the choice to make the most of those hours. You have the ability to mold your future by the actions you take today. But here's the thing, those actions don't have to be monumental. They don't have to be earth-shattering. The key to real success, the power that will carry you from where you are to where you want to be, lies in daily consistency. It's the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make each day that compound over time to bring about massive change. Choice number 13, long-term transformation is a capital presentation. The power of daily consistency is not flashy. It's not glamorous. It doesn't grab attention in the way a single big breakthrough might. But that's what makes it so powerful. You see, greatness is not achieved in a single moment of brilliance. It's not achieved by taking one big leap forward, even though those leaps can be thrilling. No, greatness is achieved by the persistent, steady, daily effort that you put in over time. It's about showing up each and every day with the intention to make progress, no matter how small that progress may seem. It's about not waiting for the perfect moment, not waiting for things to line up perfectly before you take action, but instead deciding that today is the day you will do something, no matter how small, to move closer to your goal. The true power of daily consistency comes from its ability to work quietly, without fanfare, behind the scenes. It's the quiet decisions to show up when no one's looking, to take that extra step, to work when others are resting. Think about it. No one sees the hours you spend in the gym working on your strength, but one day, someone will notice your physique and comment on how far you've come. No one sees the countless hours you spend studying or practicing a craft in private, but eventually your mastery will shine through. This is the beauty of consistency. It works even when you don't see immediate results. It builds the foundation for your success long before the world notices. Daily consistency is the engine that keeps your momentum going. It's what prevents you from burning out after the initial excitement wears off. It's easy to start something. It's easy to get motivated when the idea is fresh and new. But how do you keep going when the novelty fades? How do you keep pushing forward when the progress seems slow and you start doubting if it's worth it? This is where consistency steps in. Consistency isn't about feeling motivated every day. It's about doing what needs to be done even when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's the act of pushing through regardless of the emotional highs or lows that may come your way. And let me be clear, daily consistency doesn't mean you need to be working every minute of every day. It doesn't mean you have to be hustling 24/7 or burning yourself out. No, what it means is that you make intentional choices each day that move you closer to your goal. It means building habits that support your vision, habits that over time will pay off in ways you can't even imagine. Every decision you make to stay consistent builds upon the one before it, creating a ripple effect that propels you forward. Think about someone who has mastered their craft. Whether it's an athlete, an artist, a writer, or a business leader, that person didn't get to the top by skipping steps. They didn't get there by hoping for success to fall in their lap. No, they got there by showing up every single day, doing the work, even when it was hard, even when it felt tedious, even when they weren't seeing immediate results. They understood that success is not a straight line. It's a series of small, consistent actions over time that lead to greatness. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results. It's easy to feel like your hard work isn't paying off when the world isn't applauding you for every little step you take. But I want you to hear me when I say this. Consistency is building something that is sustainable. It's laying the groundwork for long-term success. When you show up every day, even when you feel like giving up, you are building resilience. You're building strength that will carry you through the tough times. It's the daily grind that prepares you for the moments when you will have to push through adversity. It's the daily action that sharpens your skills and strengthens your character. There's something powerful about the law of compounding. When you do something consistently, the results don't just accumulate, they multiply. The impact of your daily effort grows exponentially over time. What may seem like a small, insignificant action today can lead to massive change tomorrow. But you will never see the fruit of your labor if you give up too soon. If you quit after a week, a month, or even a year, you'll never experience the fullness of what consistent effort can bring. The key is to stay the course. Trust that the work you're doing is adding up, even if you can't see it yet. You see, the power of daily consistency is like planting seeds in a garden. Every day, you water the soil, you tend to the plants, you remove the weeds, and you do this over and over again. At first, nothing seems to be happening. The ground may still look barren, and you may feel like nothing is growing. But then after time, little shoots begin to appear. Slowly, they start to grow taller, stronger, and one day, the fruits of your labor are there for everyone to see. But it's only because you kept showing up each day, doing the small, sometimes unnoticed tasks, that your garden flourished. The truth is that most people give up too soon. They expect quick results, immediate gratification, and when it doesn't come, they abandon the process. They think that success should happen overnight, that the results should be instantaneous. But that's not how it works. The journey to greatness is long, and the key to staying on that path is daily consistency. It's the decision to keep going when others are distracted, when others are giving up. It's the decision to stay committed to the vision you have for your life, even when it seems like nothing is happening. And here's the beauty of consistency. It creates momentum. When you stay consistent, you build a rhythm in your life, you develop a flow that makes everything easier. You start to see progress, even if it's small at first. And that progress fuels your determination to keep going. The more you show up, the more you start to believe in your ability to achieve. The more you persist, the more the universe aligns with your effort. Momentum builds on itself, it grows, it accelerates. And before you know it, you are moving at a speed you never thought possible. Consistency also gives you the power to refine and improve. When you're consistent, you don't just repeat the same actions over and over again without thought. You learn from your mistakes. You adjust your approach. You grow. Consistency isn't about blindly going through the motions. It's about taking action and continually improving. It's about learning from every step, every setback, and every triumph. Over time, that consistent improvement leads to mastery. But none of this is possible without daily consistency. There's no shortcut. There's no magic formula. The secret to success is found in your ability to show up every day, to take action, to push through the hard times, and to keep moving forward no matter how small the steps. The power of daily consistency is what will set you apart from the crowd. It's what will carry you through the hard times. It's what will help you achieve what others only dream about. You may not see the impact today. You may not feel the momentum yet. But keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Keep being consistent. Because it's in the consistency that your greatness is being formed. It's in the consistency that you're becoming the person you were always meant to be. And one day, when you look back at all you've accomplished, you'll realize that motivation is a powerful force. It's what gets you started. It's what ignites that spark of enthusiasm within you and gives you that initial burst of energy to chase after your goals. Motivation makes you feel like you can conquer the world. But here's the truth. Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes. Some days you wake up feeling like you can take on anything. Other days, the bed feels warmer. The excuses sound more convincing. and the desire to take action just isn't there. This is where discipline comes in. While motivation is the spark, discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire burning even when the motivation fades away. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. It's what turns your dreams into tangible results. You cannot rely on motivation alone to get you to where you want to be. Motivation might be the thing that pushes you to take that first step, but discipline is what keeps you moving step after step, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the consistency of doing the right thing, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's doing what needs to be done, whether you're in the mood or not, whether circumstances are favorable or not. Think about it. How many times have you started something with great enthusiasm, only to abandon it when the initial excitement wore off? How many times have you made a decision to change, to be better, to do more, and then let that motivation fizzle out when things got hard, or the results didn't come quickly enough? This is the pattern that most people fall into. They start with motivation, but when that motivation fades, they don't have the discipline to keep going. That's why so many people give up on their dreams, quit their workouts, stop writing their books, or abandon their businesses. It's not that they didn't have a vision or a goal. They just didn't have the discipline to stay in the game when things got tough. But discipline is different. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to show up today. I'm going to do the work. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the stars to align or for the conditions to be perfect. It just keeps showing up. It's about having the self-restraint to make the right choices, even when you'd rather make the easy choice. It's about creating habits that support your long-term goals, even when it would be easier to indulge in short-term pleasures. There's a famous quote that says, success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. This quote is speaking directly to the power of discipline over motivation. If you only act when you feel motivated, you'll find that you're inconsistent. And that inconsistency will prevent you from ever reaching your true potential. But when you are disciplined, when you show up every day with a clear purpose, the small actions you take over time build momentum. These small efforts add up, they compound. And eventually, they lead to big results. Discipline is a mindset. It's the ability to choose your actions regardless of your feelings or external circumstances. Motivation is emotional. It's driven by how we feel in the moment. Some days you'll feel energized, others you won't. Some days you'll be motivated by your goals, other days you'll be distracted by external factors or internal struggles. But discipline isn't moved by emotions. It's anchored in commitment. It's a decision to stay the course no matter what. Think about a soldier going into battle. Do you think they fight because they feel motivated every day? Of course not. They fight because they've been trained to. They've been disciplined to follow orders, to stay in formation, and to do what's required, even in the face of fear or exhaustion. That's how discipline works. It trains you to act in alignment with your purpose, regardless of how you feel. It's about developing a mindset that says, even when I don't feel like it, I will do it anyway. It's easy to confuse motivation with discipline. After all, both are about taking action. But the truth is that motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes based on external circumstances, your mood, or even the weather. But discipline is the muscle that you build over time. Discipline is something that gets stronger the more you use it. The more you make the conscious decision to do the hard thing, the more it becomes part of who you are. It stops being something you have to do and starts becoming something you get to do. Discipline is what makes you stick to your workout routine when you'd rather stay in bed. It's what helps you write that chapter even when the words aren't flowing and you're feeling uninspired. It's what makes you show up at your job every day even when you're not feeling particularly motivated. It's what keeps you going in the face of adversity. And it's what helps you push through when everything inside you is screaming to quit. Motivation is like a wave. It comes crashing down on you, lifting you up, giving you energy and excitement, but eventually the wave recedes and you're left with nothing but the shore. Discipline is the steady tide. It's constant, reliable, and unwavering. Discipline is the force that keeps you moving forward when the waves of motivation have gone out to sea. There are days when you will wake up and not feel like doing anything. The thought of getting out of bed, facing your responsibilities, and dealing with the challenges of the day may feel overwhelming. On those days, motivation will be nowhere to be found. But if you have built the muscle of discipline, it's those days that matter the most. Because on those days, you are building the character that will see you through the tough times. On those days, discipline is what will help you push through the resistance and show up anyway. Consider the daily routines of successful people. What sets them apart from others is not their occasional bursts of motivation, but their ability to maintain disciplined habits day after day. Now, trusting the process is something many people struggle with because by its very nature it requires faith. It demands patience and a belief that things will unfold as they should, even when you can't see the immediate results of your efforts. Trusting the process is not about rushing towards a goal or forcing things to happen on your timeline. It's about embracing the journey, understanding that every step, whether it feels significant or not, is leading you to something greater. Trusting the process is the quiet confidence that what you're doing today, what you're putting into the world, will come back to you when the time is right. It is the realization that success doesn't happen overnight, and that the path you are on is exactly what you need, even if you don't fully understand it right now. When you're in the thick of the process, it's easy to get discouraged. You might not see the immediate fruits of your labor, and that can be frustrating. You might be putting in hours of work, pouring your energy into something that seems to be going nowhere, and that's when doubt creeps in. You wonder if you're wasting your time. You wonder if the effort is even worth it. But here's the truth. The process is always working for you. Fruit, nothing to show for their efforts. But they don't give up. They water the soil, they tend to the plants, and they trust that in time something beautiful will emerge. The same principle applies to your life. When you set a goal, when you start something new, it's like planting a seed. At first it might feel like nothing is happening, but the process is happening. The growth is happening. You're laying the foundation for something that will eventually blossom into the success you've envisioned. And if you don't trust the process, you risk uprooting the very thing that could have flourished if you had just been patient and persistent. Trusting the process also means letting go of control. You cannot force your dreams to come to fruition by sheer willpower alone. Life doesn't work that way. There are forces at play that are bigger than you, forces that you can't always understand or control. Trusting the process means surrendering to the flow of life, knowing that things will happen when they're meant to. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing, but about doing the work without trying to force outcomes. It's about staying consistent and focused on your efforts, but also accepting that the timeline may not always be yours to dictate. In today's fast-pacing world, we're taught to expect immediate results. We've become accustomed to instant gratification, to seeing results quickly, whether it's from social media likes, a quick meal from a microwave, or fast delivery of products. But life doesn't work like that. The most meaningful and lasting success takes time. It's a process. It's a series of small steps that build upon each other, one after another. Trusting the process means accepting that you can't rush growth. You can't speed up the natural unfolding of things. You can't bypass the lessons that life is trying to teach you. Sometimes you have to be in a season of waiting, and that waiting is not wasted. Trust that every moment is preparing you for what's ahead, even if you can't see it yet. Second clue in this letter is more information. Look at nature. It doesn't rush. The seasons come and go on their own. In life, we often get caught up in the idea of perfection. We set out with high hopes and dreams, determined to achieve greatness. But somewhere along the way, we get sidetracked by the pursuit of perfection. We believe that to be successful, we must execute everything flawlessly. Every step must be measured, every decision calculated, every move made without a single mistake. This mentality, while seemingly admirable, is actually one of the greatest obstacles to our success. In this mentality, while seemingly admirable, is actually one of the greatest obstacles to our success. Perfection can paralyze you. It could trap you in a never-ending loop of self-doubt and procrastination where you feel like nothing is ever good enough. But here's the thing, success is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up even when things aren't perfect. It's about continuing to move forward even when you don't have everything figured out. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to start, if you're waiting to feel completely ready, if you're waiting for everything to line up just right, then you're never going to begin. The truth is, the perfect moment will never come. Conditions will never be perfect. You'll never feel fully ready, and there will always be something more you think you need to learn or perfect before you take action. Always. But that's the trap. Waiting for perfection will only keep you stuck. The real key to success isn't about being flawless in every step you take. It's about being persistent in the face of imperfection, about pushing through even when things aren't going according to plan. The first step towards achieving anything worthwhile is showing up. It's committing to the process even when you don't have all the answers. It's putting in the work day after day, even when you're unsure if your efforts will pay off. Perfection doesn't come from planning and overthinking. It comes from doing, from stepping out and taking action. It comes from making mistakes, learning from them, and adjusting your approach. Consider the most successful people in any field, whether it's in business, sports, the arts, or any other endeavor. If you look closely at their journey, you'll notice that it wasn't about their first attempt being perfect. It wasn't about their work being flawless right out of the gate. It was about their persistence. They failed, they stumbled, they made mistakes, but they didn't give up. They kept going, kept learning, kept evolving. The persistence to keep moving forward, to keep trying, to keep improving, that's what got them to where they are. It wasn't about being perfect from the start. It was about not quitting, even when things were difficult. Mistakes are part of the journey. They are not roadblocks to success. They are stepping stones. If you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. You're not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Perfection doesn't allow room for growth. If you're focused solely on doing everything perfectly, you're missing the opportunity to learn, to experiment, and to discover what works and what doesn't. You're holding yourself back from the very experiences that will shape you into the person you need to become to reach your goals. Persistence is about showing up even when you're not at your best. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It's about sticking to your commitments and pushing through the hard days, the moments of doubt, and the obstacles that inevitably come your way. Life is messy. It's unpredictable. It's full of challenges and setbacks. But persistence keeps you moving forward no matter what. It's not about having a perfect plan or perfect execution. It's about being consistent even when things don't go according to plan. There will be times when you feel like giving up. You'll face setbacks, failures, and obstacles that make you question whether you should keep going. The key in those moments is to remember that success is not a straight line. It's a winding road with ups and downs, twists and turns. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is persistence. Success doesn't come from avoiding mistakes or overcoming every challenge perfectly. It comes from the ability to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward after every setback. Persistence is also about patience. We live in a world where instant gratification has become the norm. We want things now and we want them perfect. But the reality is that most worthwhile achievements take time. Whether you're building a business, learning a new skill, or working towards a personal goal, the journey will require time, effort, and patience. It's easy to get frustrated when things aren't happening as quickly as you'd like. It's easy to get discouraged when progress feels slow or when you don't see the immediate results of your hard work. But the most successful people understand that progress is not always linear. It's not about making huge leaps all at once. It's about taking small, consistent steps towards your goal, day in and day out, until one day you look up and realize how far you've come. People who work, let me tell you something, persistence doesn't mean that everything will always work out the way you expect it to. In fact, persistence often means that things will take unexpected turns. The path you're on may not be the path you envisioned when you first started. There may be detours, obstacles, and challenges along the way. But persistence means staying committed no matter the roadblocks. It means not letting the setbacks define you or stop you. It means being willing to adjust, adapt, and keep moving forward even when things aren't going according to plan. When you commit to persistence over perfection, you free yourself from the paralyzing fear of failure. You stop trying to be perfect, and instead you start embracing the process of growth. You start to see every mistake as an opportunity to learn and improve. Every challenge becomes a chance to develop your resilience. And when you look back on your journey, you realize that your success wasn't about being perfect. It was about your refusal to quit. The perfectionist mindset keeps you trapped in an endless cycle of overthinking and indecision. You're afraid of making the wrong choice, of taking the wrong step, of saying the wrong thing. But you cannot move forward if you're constantly paralyzed by fear. Success comes from taking action, from moving forward even when you don't have all the answers. Persistence is what allows you to take that first step, and then the next, until you've achieved something you never thought possible. Now it's more than ever important that you achieve those goals, determine to achieve them. Success is built on persistence, not perfection. It's the person who keeps showing up even when things are tough. It's the person who refuses to quit even when they don't have all the answers. It's the person who embraces failure as part of the journey, who learns from mistakes and keeps moving forward. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist, but persistence is real. It's what moves you from where you are to where you want to be. It's the quiet, steady force that drives you forward, even when the road is long and difficult. And when you look back at everything you've accomplished, you'll realize that it wasn't perfection that got you there. It was your unwavering persistence, your refusal to give up, your commitment to keep going no matter what.